everybody, it's me. It's lunchtime in the Andrommy house, and today I'm making Chickpea Shakshouka from my book, Wait, That's Vegan. So, I don't have all the ingredients because we haven't gone out and done a shopping in a little bit, so I'm going to use what I have on hand, which is really how you should think about cooking anyway. It's the essence of the dish that you're really going for. And shakshuka is a traditional egg dish, but we're doing my veganized version, which is just as delicious. So here we go. So we're going to start with cutting an onion, because I think everything good starts with an onion. Got to get my pan hot. This is the other half of the onion from the tofu scramble I did the other day. Now you can do the mise en place and get everything ready before you start the actual in the pot cooking, but I kind of like doing the as you go, or like Rachel Ray, she calls it the chop and drop, you know, chop it, drop it. So starting with the onion, I'm going to dice it. Do you have a good sharp knife at home? If not, you really should get one. A sharp knife is really the key to good cooking. It just makes everything so much easier. So let's get some olive oil. Now my book says a tablespoon of olive oil. Here's my tablespoon, ready? Look at that. It's like about a tablespoon. You can measure it exactly if you want, and I did when I was writing the recipes, but let's just be free in our cooking these days. So let's get the onions in the pot using my good old cast iron. And just like I said the other day, when you're cooking, you got to know your equipment. You got to know how hot your oven gets or your stovetop gets, what number you want to put your pan on. So I'm going to mix the onions around, get them coated with the olive oil. Give them a little hit of salt. Okay, so next ingredient, garlic. 2 cloves. I got 1 big one. That's what I'm going with today. I got my handy dandy garlic press. If you don't have one, this is another really good kitchen tool to have. I really don't like mincing garlic by hand. Oopsie. I find that just to be not exactly my favorite activity, so I'm gonna get the garlic off my shirt. And anyway, so I like to use the garlic press. I think I like the texture of the garlic. I think it cooks nicely that way. Mix that right into the onions. Okay. Now the next ingredient is yellow pepper. I have a couple pieces of orange pepper left over from salad the other night, and I have this ginormo red pepper, so I'm just going to use a little bit of it. That'll probably give me enough to make the dish look colorful. I'm going to dice it. Now if you have the straight edges, those pieces of the pepper, it's easy to make a pretty dice like this, like in matchsticks kind of. Those are going to go in. Now with this part of the pepper, you just fake it. You make it, kind of sort of cut it into strips. They don't have to be perfect. Cooking is not about perfection, it's about enjoying the creative process. This part's going to be fun, let's see. Kind of dices itself. You don't want to waste any part of the pepper, you know? Use it all, especially in this time when we really just need to use what we have. All right, peppers. All right, mix those in with the onions. I think that's plenty. I'm not even gonna, I have a yellow pepper over here. I'm not gonna use it. Put that away for another thing. Now, I do not have a zucchini. We're just going to skip it. Okay, so now it's about the flavor. Let me get this out of the way. now we're gonna add all the good flavor that makes this a shakshuka. So I have Aleppo pepper. It's sweet. I noticed that I touch my face a lot. It's okay, I only live with my family. Anyway, it's a sweet, spicy, fruity sort of pepper. I really love it. I'm gonna use a teaspoon of it. Teaspoon. So you guys, this is not an ad or anything, but this company is called Crimson and Clove. It's so cute. Their packaging is super cute. They're a little business on Long Island in New York, and I try to get a lot of my spices from them when I can. So if you want to support small business, that's a good one. Okay, now we have a half a teaspoon of coriander. Half a teaspoon. Coriander. It's like in the, I think it's in the cilantro family. I don't really know. So I'm sort of like shaking it over the measuring spoon. Can you see it? There it is. Kind of getting, you know, about half a teaspoon. Half a teaspoon of paprika. So watch, I'm gonna like literally throw it over the half a teaspoon, and then whatever goes into the pot goes into the pot. That's 1, 2, 3. Now we have a nutmeg. You know nutmeg? I have this container of nutmeg. I don't even know how long I've had it for. See, they're like these whole nuts, like nutmegs. I have some that I've used already. Here, I'll use this one. So I usually do like 10 scrapes on the microplane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It adds like this really nice sort of like depth of flavor. It's like one of those flavors that you're like, ooh, yum. Don't know what that is, but it smells and tastes good. It's a good flavor to put in like creamy sauces, but that'll be another video for another day. Okay. And then it says salt and pepper. We already did a little salt, a little more salt, a little fresh pepper. If you know your pinches of salt and you know your salt levels that you like, just pinch it in. I like to do the fresh grounding of the salt. Grinding. Okay, now it's 1/4 cup of tomato paste. So I'm not going to measure it because I can eyeball it. It's easy to measure, but you know, I don't really want to clean any more things than I have to. So I like to use these tubes because they're so much easier to reuse than the can ones, because if you have extra left over, you just put the tube back. So I'm just going to squeeze it in. See it? I'd say that's about 1/2 cup. I used it last night to make SpaghettiOs for my son. And so I had that bit left over. Having trouble closing the top. There we go. All right. Now let's mix that in. Now when tomato paste lives in a tube like that, I learned this from Rachel Ray. You got to let it cook out a little bit because it's, you know, in the tube. You got to let it kind of breathe. Give it some time to develop its flavors. Okay, so that's in there, right? So the reason why I like to use tomato paste also is because it's just an easy way to have tomato product on hand and create a sauce with it, so that you don't have to open a huge can of tomato paste, tomato sauce, or crushed tomatoes, or anything like that. Okay, now we need a cup of water. Water, 1 cup, goes in. So now we're gonna let this cook out for a few minutes until it gets nice and saucy. See how nice and saucy it's already looking, but we're gonna let it thicken up a little bit. So my directions say 20 minutes, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to add the chickpeas. These are chickpeas that I actually cooked up from scratch, you know, like you buy the dried chickpeas in the bag. And anyway, so I'm going to put the chickpeas in. We're going to cook them through. My directions say 20 minutes, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it go. Okay, we're back. So what I'm going to do is, because I don't have any zucchini, I figured add a little green, because, you know, let's stay healthy with the greens. I'm just going to put in a little handful of spinach that I still have. To just let it wilt in. it'll just take a couple seconds, really, okay, a minute, let's say. And then, the recipe calls for avocado. Don't have that right now. And it calls for fresh mint and fresh parsley. I don't have either one, but I do have dry parsley, which I actually dried from parsley that I had. So I'm gonna use a little dry parsley, just, you know, give it a little extra flavor. And there you go, you guys. That is today's lunch. Shakshuka.